Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com. TGIF, everybody. It is Friday. Congratulations on making it all the way through the week. Man, it seems like these two baseball series have been going on for about a month now, Scott. What do you think?
It's just kind of ironic because they're playing every day.
I know. They should have been over very quickly, but they're playing every day. No rest days, no travel, nothing.
Well, I can't really blame the Braves series for feeling that way because of the fact that you haven't had an elimination game yet. Tampa's, I guess they just didn't want to move on to the World Series yet. They're kind of just deciding, we're just going to play with our food a little bit before we potentially take care of business. I don't really know what's going on with them right now.
I don't know. Those have been a couple of pretty good games there, with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros. I don't know, man. We'll see. They've got the man going today, so we'll see what happens. They've got Blake Snell getting the start, and we might as well start there, Scott, since that's the only one where we actually know both pitchers. God, this 2020, am I right?
It's definitely something else.
And it definitely challenges pitching staffs without that extra day off. No question about it. Because Atlanta is still undecided. Without that extra, if they had the day off, they'd be back to the top of their rotation. We'd see Max Fried and Ian Anderson. But 2020, so what the hell? So this one, Scott, we got Houston and Tampa Bay. Framber Valdez goes against, like I said, Blake Snell for the Rays. I got the prices on this one. Roughly Tampa Bay in the minus 135, 130 range. Kept, of course, picking up Houston, get plus 120. 8 is pretty much the total across the board. How do you have this one handicapped, sir? The Astros finally going to give up the ghost, or are we going to go to a Game 7?
For me, I'm going to lean to Houston. It's mostly just because of the fact that, besides the fact that every game has been pretty much a pitcher's duel, and as I mentioned in yesterday's video, the under trend continues with Tampa as they went under again yesterday. I'm just a huge fan of Valdez. I think Valdez is very good. I think that Houston has – I can't really buy into momentum because, as we saw yesterday, that doesn't really matter, especially with the Dodgers. But Houston's hanging around. They have the experience advantage, and it looks like Tampa – I don't want to say they're crumbling under pressure, but they're definitely not handling it too well. And every time Valdez is pitching the playoffs, he's looked really good. So I'm gonna lean to Houston here, and I'll lean to the under.
Yeah, he's been solid. He's made 3 starts here in the playoffs. He's given up a total of 4 runs in 18 innings, 11 hits. So yes, Valdez is certainly looks to be peaking at the right time. I like that under trend. I think that's we're seeing some actual pitching going on here. Did you watch any of that game yesterday?
Yes, I watched a decent amount of it actually because it was on the middle of the afternoon and there's nothing else on TV. I saw the Choi home run that he absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
And yeah, Correa, he thought he got it all, so I assumed he did. I actually didn't think it sounded that well off the bat because he hit it to one of the deepest parts in the arena. But yeah, it was gone. He knew it was gone. I figured, all right, cool, we got Game 6. I could tell that you're honoring the occasion by wearing your Astros orange today.
I love me some Astros.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of the Astros. I just wish we could see them on TV, every day. Not even during the off season. Show me some Astros specials. No, I'm quite tired of the Astros. I really am. I like this Tampa Bay team. I don't think they get enough credit. I don't think Kevin Cash gets enough credit. I don't think this lineup gets enough credit. I don't think the pitching staff gets enough credit.
It's a matter of the lineup also. I do agree they don't get enough credit, but can we acknowledge that besides maybe 2 or 3 guys, they've completely fallen asleep at the wheel?
It happens, and obviously, if everybody was firing on all cylinders there for the offense, I think this series would have already been over.
Correct. I know Rosarena is doing whatever he wants, and Choi has had some big hits in the playoffs. Adames had 1 or 2 big hits. Other than that, though, I know Joey Wendell's been okay also, but you're looking at these guys like Brandon Loud, for example, who's completely fallen off a cliff. I don't know what's happened really with him. Zunino is pretty much only a fastball hitter, and he can't hit a curveball to save his life. Kiermaier's not a good hitter. Diaz has kind of fallen apart at the plate. Yeah, you go through the entire list of guys, and you have only like 3 people right now you can rely on in that entire Tampa Bay lineup?
Yeah, Asmarena really is the only consistent guy. They've all they've all had their moments, and that had been enough earlier in the playoffs where they.
I know Lyle homered yesterday, but he has been awful in the playoffs. Yeah. He's been so beyond bad. And I know that he was up yesterday with a guy on, I think it was first base, like late in the game. I would have actually just told him to bunt. I know he was their best hitter in the regular season, but some guys just don't have it right now. And anytime he swings the bat, I consider that a victory for the pitching staff right now.
Now, does that put extra pressure on a pitching staff, in your opinion? Do the Tampa pitchers know that their offense is struggling? They've got to go out there and be, close to perfect. They really
I think you can make that. I think you can make that argument, but I think that in playoff baseball in general, runs are so valuable that there's already this built-in pressure on the pitching staff. So I don't think that it really matters because I'm sure Houston feels the same way. It's not like Houston's been averaging 7 runs a game. Runs have been coming at a premium in the series, and whichever team has been able to even muster anything, mostly by solo home run, which seems to be the only way that either of these teams score, which has been a trend in the playoffs. It's pretty much home run or bust for everybody. But, yeah, runs have been at a premium, and I think there's already this built-in pressure on the pitching staff because the general stigma around postseason baseball is you need to pitch well.
Yeah, agreed. Everything becomes magnified. Every bat is important. I'm going to go ahead. I know I'm a little late to the party here, but I'm going to go ahead and jump on the under trend as well. I
mentioned it. You definitely considered it, and then it went under again. You're like, I feel like I'm kind of missing the boat on this one.
Yeah, and that almost guarantees it'll be an 8-4 blowout. But with these two pitchers going at it, I probably lean in your direction too as far as taking the Astros today. It's tough to fade. It's tough to fade Blake Snell, but
he doesn't give you depth, and that's kind of an issue right now.
Yeah, it is. These guys have been throwing a lot of pitches. Framber Valdes, like I said, he's been pitching well. He's been pitching into at least the 6th inning. He's done a nice job in the playoffs. Good young pitcher. I think he could be peaking at the right time. I'll take the Astros and the under. Give me the dog and the trend.
Cool.
All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Dodgers Atlanta game. Clayton Kershaw, the bad playoff Clayton Kershaw, showed up again. And Kershaw's one of those guys when you talk about him being bad in the playoffs, he's never awful. He has a lot of performances like he did yesterday, Scott. He goes 5 innings or so, he'll give up 7 or 8 hits, 4 or 5 runs. I mean, he's not dreadful. He's not getting shelled in the second.
No, he was good for a decent portion of the game. Just the 6th inning completely destroyed his stats. I mean, anytime you have a guy who hasn't pitched in 3 weeks and you get 1 hit off the guy over 6 innings, there's more people to blame than Clayton Kershaw. I can't even blame Dave Roberts for what happened yesterday. They might have kept Kershaw a little bit too long, maybe, but at the end of the day, you got to hit the ball. And that was a golden chance to put up some runs, and they only mustered up 1 hit. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you've got to be able to hit against Bryce Wilson.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're spending, I don't know what they're $240 million for their lineup or whatever, you've got to be able to put together some base hits against Bryce Wilson. If Bryce Wilson shuts you down, you deserve what you get.
So I can't blame Kershaw. I know that he's got another loss on his playoff record, and I know that all his numbers are not great from what happened yesterday. If he goes 7 innings, 2 runs, they still lose the game. So it's a matter of, I know Kershaw needs to pitch better, but I don't know how he was supposed to win that game yesterday unless he goes pretty much 8 scoreless. I don't know. I don't know what he was supposed to do in the situation.
Right. So today we've got another Braves game where we don't really know who's going to pitch. It's going to be Dustin May for the Dodgers getting the start. He had some work out of the bullpen on Monday, but he should be fresh and ready to go. And you and I pretty much have it narrowed down to either Huascar Ynoa or Josh Tomlin.
I would have to lean Ynoa because Tomlin got absolutely shelled earlier in the season. So I got to assume that they're going to be relying on Ynoa because I don't know if Tomlin's going to pitch in this series. Unless it's like mop-up duty because he was that bad in the first appearance. I don't know how you can go back to him.
He was dreadful, but I mean you've got to be able to go back to all those guys, Scott. You've got to be able to have Grant Dayton out of the bullpen. You've got to be able to put Kyle Wright out there. They don't have any other options.
So that part is definitely true, but I think that Ynoa should get first cracks at it, and if he struggles to bring in Tomlin, maybe. But I expect Ynoa to start this game.
And we don't really have any. We've got some prices on this. The Dodgers once again, huge favorites, bigger favorites than yesterday, Scott.
Because it's a must-win situation.
Okay.
I'm telling. If you want to know my breakdown on why I think that they're big favorites, that's probably the main reason why. I think you'll agree with that.
Well, and Dustin May's a known commodity. He's a good young pitcher, fireballer, gets outs.
People are going to talk themselves into there's no way the Dodgers lose 4-1 to the Braves and people are going to bet the Dodgers. I know that yesterday Twitter was a bloodbath because pretty much everybody was on the Dodgers, including myself. I had the team total because I thought there was a chance Kershaw could struggle, so I was leaning to the team total over, and the Dodgers had one hit. The game went over, which is the more frustrating part, but at the end, a lot of people lost a lot of money with the Dodgers, and then what you know about the gambling public in the squares, when you lose, you double down. And I think that's what they're going to view for the Dodgers today.
Double up to catch up, sir. That's the rule. Everybody knows it.
I'm leaning to Atlanta. Simply put, there's no way that the Dodgers should be this big of a favorites in this matchup. I think you make the argument that without even knowing who the starting pitcher is for Atlanta, Dodgers should be a maximum of, I'd say, minus 150.
I'd like to know if there's ever been another team that's up 3-1 that's a minus 230 or 240 underdog in the fifth game.
Yeah, like around the plus 210 range, something. I don't know. This is definitely a unique situation. I'm going to lean to Atlanta. Are the Dodgers probably going to win and score 7 runs? Probably, because I took the team total over yesterday. But at the
I've
end
been
of the
about
day,
a day early on my baseball picks too, by the way.
there's no way that you can look at the Dodgers after yesterday and just say, I want to lay them with minus 220. Like, no, I can't do it. I got to go to Atlanta.
I told you the Dodgers go in these weird little funks where they don't score, and and I know they were right up there, close to the top of the majors in runs scored. But I'm telling you, I've watched this team. They go through weird little spates where all of a sudden, no matter who's pitching, they just can't hit the ball. And I think they maybe have gone, and they're maybe in another one of those right now. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I've been about a day early on all my baseball picks. So I had the Braves to win the day before yesterday. Of course, that didn't work out. You and I were both all over the Dodgers team total yesterday because we wanted to take Kershaw out of the mix in case he pitched poorly. So the one thing we didn't see was the Dodgers struggling against Bryce Wilson. So, good on him. That's a fantastic job. I don't know how you don't play the Braves here, Scott. I'm with you. I'm not laying that kind of wood ever, most likely, and I'm certainly not laying it here. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is an inflated price. You've got a bunch of things coming together, a bunch of fallacies coming together here, Scott, to make this line.
That's the only thing that I could think of when it comes to them being this big of a favorite. Because from what you saw yesterday, I know the Dodgers will be favored no matter what because Dustin May and the talent on the roster and blah, blah,
right.
blah. I get it. But I think minus 150 sounds about where this line should be.
Yeah. I'd even put it, minus 170 if you wanted to go minus 170 plus 155. I'm okay with that.
I think you have a case for that. It's just you're looking at this line, you're just going, I don't really know what to tell you.
No, there's value there catching the Braves at over plus money 200.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Any thoughts on the total? It's 9.5 across the board.
I'm going to lean to the over. Because from what I've seen is that both teams in this series have had moments where they've gone off, and it might only take one. You've had a couple of games where the opposing team scored 2 or 3 runs and the game still flew over the total. So if both teams are in danger to potentially go for 7 runs apiece at any given moment, I'll take the over.
Yeah, you got some boppers on that team. I'm a lot more heartily endorsing the Braves than I am the over. But if I had a lean, it would be the over on that one as well. So. All right, bud, should be fun. We've got a 6:07 start time for Houston, Tampa Bay, and we got the Dodgers playing finally in their accustomed late night position at 9:08. Should be good. We got a couple of college football games we're going to talk about on the next show. Should be a decent Friday of sports, but enjoy, guys. We may have one qualifier for the World Series after today, or we may not.
We might have 2 after today. Who knows?
I was going to say, or we may have 2. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But for that, any final thoughts on baseball, my friend?
No. I'm kind of curious how this is going to unfold. Truth is, I'm kind of rooting for the Braves already, and nothing makes me laugh harder than the Dodgers going over the luxury tax again just to fall apart in the playoffs. But
maybe if they spent $300 million, they'd be able to make it to the World Series.
Maybe. But I know that for the Astros and Rays series, it's kind of a situation where if it's a lose-lose in a way, because Houston, of course, nobody likes, and you hope that the cheaters lose and you get to make fun of them, whatever.
Yes.
But as a Yankees fan, Houston allegedly either cheated against the Yankees or something there. And on the other hand, if Tampa loses, and the Yankees aren't the only team to blow a 3-0 lead in the history of the sport. So I'm kind of in the middle of a situation where I have kind of a narrative for both sides of the equation. Do I care enough? No. But it would be nice if every time I hear a team's up 3-0, they're 85-1. I don't automatically think, oh, that one time in 2004, which is always popping into my head every now and then. But,
were you old enough to be a fan back then, Scott?
Yeah, easily. I was about 7 at the time.
I was going to say you were 7 or 8.
I was watching the Subway Series World Series when I was like 3. Yeah, I remember the Luis Gonzalez blooper against Mariano in 01. I remember all this other stuff, but 04, not fun. Not a fun time. The bloody sock, the Damon Grand Slam in 7. It's a lot of bad memories.
Well, that must have been that must have been just horrific for you as a youngster and a Yankees fan.
That might explain why I'm so messed up right now. I don't know yet.
In your honor, Scott, I rewatched Fever Pitch the other night.
Good movie. You don't have to apologize to me. That's just a good movie.
It really is.
Jimmy Fallon, solid. Drew Barrymore, solid. It's a good movie overall.
Oh, so the teams ask you what you think? No.
Yeah.
My buddy and I had to watch that when we went down to see spring training. That's just the funniest scene when she's asking about spring training. We'll go down there to scout the players. Oh, so the team's asking what you think? No, not yet.
Mm-hmm. It's
a
good movie.
Yeah, it really is. Enough of that. All right, guys. So that's it for the baseball show today. Of course, if you want deeper dives into either one of these games or both of these games, make sure you check out, the spot, winnersandwhiners.com. Deep dives into every game every single day. There is no other site like it anywhere on the interwebs. Know it, live it, love it. It is winnersandwhiners.com. And for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we're hoping you guys have a great Friday. It leads right into a great weekend. Hey, click that next video. Check out our take on the college football as Scott and I once again go head-to-head with our 3 favorite picks, plus a little bonus. We'll take a look at tonight's 2 games as well. But until then, you guys take care. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money. And we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.